For Pride Month, which was in June, one of our listeners, Chrissy, set up a fundraiser for Point Foundation, but she's planning to go ahead and leave it up for the rest of 2021. So please join in and donate if you can. The Point Foundation helps LGBTQ+ students achieve their goals of higher education with financial assistance, mentoring, leadership programming, and more. Your generosity helps Point provide scholarships and vital programs to a new generation of LGBTQ+ leaders. If you'd like to donate, go to our Instagram, Who's the Boss Podcast, and the link is in our bio. It's listed as Chrissy's Pride Foundation.
I gotta meet Sinatra. I'm his biggest fan.
Oh, you hold it, Buster. I'm a much bigger fan of Sinatra's than you are.
Are you kidding? Oh, yeah? Oh, yeah? Where was he born?
Hoboken. What is his middle name?
Oh, Albert. All right, who did he beat out for his Oscar-winning role of Maggio in From Here to Eternity?
Eli Wallach. What Sammy Kahn song did he sing in his movie, A Hole in the Head?
Please, don't insult me. Just what makes that little old ant think he'll move that rubber tree plant? Everyone knows an ant can't move a rubber tree plant.
But he had high hopes. He had high
Hello. Welcome back to
Hey, yo. Oh, hey.
the Who's the Boss Podcast. I'm Tori,
And I'm Kevin.
and we are here to rewatch and discuss every single episode of Who's the Boss. All right, this is our second episode now on Audacity instead of GarageBand, and the hardest thing I'm having trouble with is that we no longer hear our mics in our ear.
Yeah, we
So
should figure that out.
So it really feels like we're just sitting in the living room talking.
Yeah, which you hate.
But, okay. It's getting better, though. All right. So, episode we're going to cover tonight is Season 5, Episode 16. I have no news, by the way.
Oh,
There's nothing.
okay.
The
Really nothing, huh?
No.
Well,
It's Episode 16. The title is called Party Double. It first aired on Tuesday, February 28th, 1989. And the TV Guide summary says, Angela picks Tony to go to a swanky event. But when Angela can't make it, Mona crashes the party. Frank Sinatra guest stars. Yeah, big time.
Yeah, this is a big time one. I was actually looking forward to this episode
Yeah,
because
you were pretty excited.
I didn't, I don't remember it at all. So once I saw that Frank Sinatra was in it, I was excited because I like Frank Sinatra. Summary I have is Tony and Mona are dead eager rivaling to be invited along as Angela's partner to an exclusive New York party where Frank Sinatra will sing.
What?
I don't remember. I mean, maybe he sings and we don't see it.
Right, that's exactly what happens.
Okay. Angela bails out to try to rescuing an account. So Mona steals her dress and the tickets. Only on-site Tony discovers the tickets aren't transferable. Angela returns early just in time to join them, but adds to the confusion, so all three end up thrown out. Tony, however, is thus just in time to meet his idol and render him appreciated service.
Okay, yeah. I mean, definitely covered all points.
It does.
Yeah, it really covers the entire episode. All right, now this episode was written by 4 people. Karen Wengrod, Ken Cinnamon. We've seen those names plenty of times before.
I saw that it was written by 4 people.
Yeah, Danny Callis and Joe Fish. We've seen Joe Fish's name before. I'm pretty sure we've seen Danny Callis also. But that's interesting when there's always more than like one, unless it's a writing team.
Yeah, that's interesting to me. I think I asked you when we were watching it who wrote it.
Right. Someday we might talk to a writer. It's not going to be today. It's not going to be tomorrow, but someday. But my thought is, because I've heard this, where did I hear this? Oh, in the book that Mindy Glazer wrote, I read it, that sometimes if they like brought someone in to write an episode and then it had to be rewritten a bit, then the people who also worked on it would get story credit for it. So either that, or because this episode was so big, they put a writing team and then 2 other writers on it, or they had to rewrite the end, and so maybe another writer got the credit for rewriting the.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
We'll never know. Yeah, so Danny Callis, he wrote quite a few. He will be with Who's the Boss all the way until the end. Savor the Veal, parts 1, 2, and 3.
Oh, boy.
That's going to be a super-sized podcast episode. The last episode of the series is actually 3.5 hours.
Oh, it really is?
Yeah, it's a 3-parter.
That's going to be a 4-hour podcast.
I know. By then, we're going to be so old and exhausted.
Old.
No, I mean, really, this should take us like 9 more months, I think. We've mapped it out.
Like a pregnancy.
It really is. We are giving birth to the rest of this podcast. 9 more months.
Now I know how it feels.
No, you don't.
Okay.
But good try. Okay, so let's get right to it. So when this episode, right? Did I cover? Okay, yes. Who's in it? Who wrote it? Yes, and Asad Khalada directed it. Same guy as usual. Now, when this episode opens, that's sound. Hang on. Okay, Angela and Mona are coming home from work. And it's one of those usual shots where we get them coming in through the front door.
And they're fighting, as usual.
They're always mid-argument about something.
Was it just like an aggressive fight all the way home on the bus?
Probably.
The train.
Yep.
And then on the car.
Yep.
And just the constant fighting.
Yes, the whole way home. It probably started at the office.
Well, yeah, but continued all the way.
Angela says, "You're taking this much too personally. You don't take dictation. You hate to file, and you question everything I say." And Mona's like, "Oh, do I? Oh, do I really?" Questioning everything she's saying. So Angela's telling her she's not getting a raise because of this.
That she did that.
Of course. Thank you. She's telling her that you want a raise. If you want a raise, you're going to have to start learning that I am the boss. Ooh. Does that mean that Angela's the boss of this episode? Because she's stating she's the boss?
We'll find out at the end.
She says, "You are the secretary, I am the boss." And Mona says, "Well, now we're home. You are the daughter, and I am the mother. And I just want you to know that you've had a piece of tuna fish stuck in your teeth all day long, and everybody knew it, and I didn't tell you."
No.
So mean.
It is not nice.
No. So as Angela's going over to check the mail, Mona's mimicking, "You're the boss, and I'm the secretary. You're the boss, and I'm the secretary."
Wow.
Oh, wait. Oh, yeah, that's a switching. And then Angela screams because she's opened up a piece of mail that's very exciting. Tony hears the scream and he comes running because he immediately thinks somebody must be dead.
I know. And what's he doing back there in the office?
I would imagine.
Isn't that the office?
Yeah, that's like the den. I guess he was cleaning. Does he have anything in his hand?
No, he just comes running around the corner like he was just sleeping back there.
Maybe he was taking a little nap.
All right.
Maybe there's a TV back there that we've never seen.
Oh, maybe.
Why is his shirt so tight?
I don't know. There's so many questions, no answers.
So he comes running out and he wants to know what happened. Is everybody okay? And Angela's like, "Oh, I'm fine." And then Tony says, "Do you know you have a piece of tuna fish stuck in your teeth?"
Immediately.
Yes. So Angela says that she and a guest have been invited to a premiere gala. It's a dinner dance for the New York Community of Arts. She said it's a hot ticket and there are going to be lots of celebrities there. And Mona's like, "Okay, well, if there are going to be rich and famous people there, then I need to be there as well." But Angela says, "Mother, I really should go to this escorted by a man." And she motions straight to Tony. So I guess that's Tony's invitation.
Well, yeah. And it's the late 80s. So she must go with a man.
Right, exactly.
Can't show up with a woman. That'd be weird.
Well, yes. Okay, yes. I see what you're saying there. Yeah.
No, I know. What I'm saying is, come on.
Right.
You don't have to be escorted by a man.
No, she could totally go. Right. She could totally go with her mother. But I guess, yes, at the time, for it to be proper, she would rather be escorted by a man. Which is why she hired that escort to go to the ad awards. Because she didn't want to go by herself.
Yeah.
And she didn't want to go with her mother. But yeah, you're right. I mean, and you would think that somebody like Angela at this point wouldn't care and would just go by herself. But she still does have quite a few insecurities she deals with.
I guess so.
And at first I thought that Tony was assuming that he was going. But she does really motion to him. She waves to Tony as she's saying I should go with a man.
Right.
Because at first I was like, well, that's kind of cocky that he just thinks that he's the one that she's going with. But Tony says, "You know what? I really don't like those things. I'm not into the foo-foo celebrity things."
Chi-chi, frou-frou. He says a couple of things.
Yeah, I know. My closed captioning really messed it up because it says celebrity shiva.
Frou-frou celebrity things or something.
Oh, shoot. How did I just get so far in this episode? What happened here? Okay, go back. So Tony is rooting for Mona to go at this point. He's like, "You know what? Just go take your mother. She would really enjoy this kind of stuff better than I would." And Angela says, "You're right. I think she really would enjoy this because the guest of honor is Frank Sinatra."
Right.
So Tony had gone up to Mona and put his arm around her as he was trying to volunteer Mona for the job. This is Kevin's favorite part of the episode.
It is funny.
When he hears the name Frank Sinatra, he throws Mona into the couch.
I know, and she really takes a header almost into the couch. And
Catherine
and then
Hellman
she like
committed
gets up
to
without
it.
a beat, like what?
Yep.
I'm ready to fight, or whatever. It's just so funny the way he just slings her right into the couch.
It is great. And Catherine Hellman just goes for it and then gets right back up.
Yeah. So
it happens
ridiculous.
so fast too. It's really I need to GIF this so it's like going in a little circle.
I know, seriously, it's so funny.
So now Tony's like, no, you need to take me. He said she doesn't deserve a damn thing.
God. After he just said all those things,
nice things about her,
that she deserved.
And so I'm not going to recap all this because it's a lot of Frank Sinatra stuff that I don't know, and I don't even know how many other people would know. But if you're a very large Frank Sinatra fan, I apologize in advance.
A large Frank Sinatra fan? You mean a big...
I don't mean like a large person who likes Frank Sinatra. I mean somebody who likes Frank Sinatra a lot. Right. So they start arguing over who should get to meet Frank more. And Tony's like, no, I'm his biggest fan. She says, no, I'm his biggest fan. So then they start quizzing each other. One of them is like, where was he born? Hoboken. What's his middle name? Albert.
Right.
And then they're going into like movies and all sorts of stuff. Then finally Mona says, I have to go. He knows me. She says that in 1969, she threw her bra at him on the stage.
Oh, God.
I'm not at all surprised
Hall.
that. Oh, and then I should mention
Carnegie
this part.
Hall.
At Carnegie. Okay, wait. I should mention this part, though. When they're singing, they're like singing a Frank Sinatra song from a movie. And then Angela joins in, belting it out at the end.
I know, like she's at a concert. Like, high hopes. She's just going to town.
And it's the classic. Now, we know that Judith can sing a bit. So I wonder when she sang as Angela, she just was like...
Yeah, it had to be intentional.
Yeah,
like,
playing it up that Angela can't sing.
Yeah, I guess.
Or Judith got better at singing as she got older.
No, I think she did it on purpose.
So
probably.
Mona says, he knows me. Who do you think the stranger was in Strangers in the Night? And Tony's not buying it. He's like, no, okay, whatever. And he's still aiming, he still wants to be the one that Angela's going to take. And Angela says, okay, I've made my decision. This was a quick decision for Angela because really she never changed her mind. And Mona says, remember who gave you the gift of life? And Tony says, remember who got that stain out of your favorite silk blouse? And she says again, I really think that I should be escorted by a man. Now, I have to point out that as she is saying this, Tony is doing this dance like he has to pee.
I know. I don't understand what's happening here.
Because he's crossing both of his fingers, then he's crossing his arms, and then he's crossing his legs.
So it's like crossing
everything.
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
hoping that he's going to get picked for this.
Got it.
And even Angela looks at him like, because he looks ridiculous. This is probably the most ridiculous body movement we've seen out of Tony Danza, and we've seen a lot of ridiculous shit.
We really have.
This is definitely my favorite. Even the look on the face. So she again says, I should be escorted by a man. And Tony starts dancing. Fairy tales can come true. It can happen to you. And he throws himself onto the couch.
All right.
Okay, now you don't have this scene on Antenna TV, but on the Roku channel edit that I have, the next day, I'm assuming, or it's a few days later, Mona's sitting at her desk filing her nails, doing absolutely nothing. Oh, I like the way you froze that.
I know, the pause.
Kevin paused the TV so that Tony Danza's mid-air throwing himself onto the couch. And Angela comes out of her office and says, Mother, has Bergdorf's called yet? Oh, no, I'm sorry. Have they delivered my dress yet? And Mona's like, oh, great. Okay, why don't you just rub in the fact that I'm not getting to go to this thing and you are? And Angela says, I just want to know if my dress got here. But Mona says, do you see a dress? Because if there was a dress here, you'd see a dress. She's really being snotty.
I know, all worked up.
So she's continuing to file her nails when the phone rings. And then Mona says, Angela, telephone. And Angela's like, Angela has files in her hand. She's walking over to file some stuff. What is this horse? Angela really likes horses. If you look on the top of the filing cabinet when she's going to file the papers, there's some sort of wooden...
intense.
Yeah, like it looks almost like it could be an antique child's horse, but it maybe looks too small. You know what I mean? Like a rocking horse.
I understand what you're saying, yeah.
Angela says, I have work to do, and it's your job to answer the phone. Remember? You're the boss. I mean, I'm the boss. You're the secretary. So Mona answers the phone. She says, Bauer Agency, hold please. It's for you. And as Angela walks away, Mona's like, you know what? It would have just been a lot easier if you had answered that yourself.
She's got a point. But
yeah, she kind of does have a point.
Well, it's not the way it works.
No, not at all. Now, just then, so now this is where the antenna TV part picks back up. Now, just then, a delivery man walks in holding a garment bag, and he has Angela's dress from Bergdorf's. So he takes it over to Mona. She signs for it. She looks at the dress, and she says, red is not her color. The dress is very red.
No.
I know, so mean. So the guy's kind of following Mona around because he's waiting for a tip. And she just gives him a dirty look and tells him to beat it. So he leaves. So she hangs the dress up in the corner. Now, a lot happened on that phone call. How long do you think that phone call was?
I don't know.
28 seconds?
Maybe.
All right, hang on. Real quick, though. The guy who played the messenger, Gary Lieberthal.
Sure.
Yeah, sorry. His only IMDb credit is Who's the Boss.
Oh, boy.
But it is 2 episodes of Who's the Boss.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, this episode as Messenger, and then Tony and the Honeymooners, which is a season 7, or I think it might be season 8, actually. Season 8 episode. Yes, it is 8, 1992. He plays a guy named Ray. So he had to have known someone, right?
Or it was a crew member or something.
I know, but then he would be listed. Okay, so maybe he was a crew, but he would be listed as crew, right?
Yeah,
Unless he was a crew member where they weren't listed on IMDb.
I don't know. That's interesting.
But I feel like, if he would have continued working anywhere else, even if he wasn't listed in the crew on Who's the Boss, he would have gotten a listing later. So whatever happened on that phone call was terrible because now Angela comes out and she says that Palmer wants to toss out the entire campaign. So she has to go to Boston now and fix this. She has to save a campaign. So she tells Mona to call the hotel, book her a hotel, get her a car rental, and then call an airline for her, and that she will be back later. But Mona's like, wait a minute, you're not going to make it back now in time to go to the gala tonight. So Angela looks over at her dress, and she's like, oh, and I look so great in red. And she's looking the dress over, and she's like, yeah, I know I'm not going to be able to make it, so I'm sorry. You're going to have to call Tony and tell him I'm sorry, and then I'll call him. And Mona says, I can't do that. Like, I'll just go in your place instead. But Angela says, nope. The tickets are non-transferable, which means that you cannot use it. So make the calls. And then she walks out.
That sounds like a challenge to Mona.
Exactly. So who do you think her first phone call is to?
I don't know.
Okay, wait. Is Angela on her way to the airport and Mona's supposed to buy her a plane ticket right now?
I don't know, but she got there and didn't have one, I'm sure.
I'm sure, because that was probably the last thing on Mona's mind. So she calls Bergdorf's.
And obviously this is the night of the...
Yeah, this is the day of the gala.
So she went to Boston, came back. Anyway, we can actually recap that later.
So Mona calls Bergdorf's and she says, listen, you know the dress you just delivered? Is there any way you could shorten it and let it out? And then she looks down at herself and she says, a lot.
Yeah.
Yes, and she means her boobs. I was curious. Now back at home, Sam and Jonathan are sitting on the couch, and I guess Mona has given them money so that they will go out. And I don't know why, because they're old enough to stay home by themselves.
I know, but I don't know why she's sending them out.
Yeah, maybe she just wanted to get them out of the house so that they wouldn't know that they were going to the gala, but they're still here when Tony comes down the stairs. But I guess it's at least we get this interaction between them, because otherwise they would have nothing to do in this episode.
I know. That's what I was thinking earlier.
Yeah. So Sam says, okay, because Mona is paying for the tickets and for dinner, you get to pick what they are. But under one condition, you don't sit next to me at the restaurant and you don't sit next to me in the movie. And Jonathan's like, Sam, am I paranoid or do you not like me? And Sam's like, oh, Jonathan, you're not paranoid.
And then that's it.
I know. And he almost is going to smile like, oh, he's so happy. And then he just like looks all sad.
And he realizes it's an insult.
Yeah. You know what's sad too is I've heard Danny Pintauro say that at this point, he and Alyssa Milano didn't get along great anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because she had become a teenager and he was still a kid. And like they had to do school together. They were their only classmates and they were in totally different phases of their lives. So he said that they just kind of grew apart. And then they never really, I don't think it was until after the show was over that they kind of reconnected and became friendlier.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they like fought or anything, but they just weren't friends. But I mean, it's kind of understandable as far as like their age gap and how a brother and sister would be, like they're acting as brother and sister, and there really isn't any reason for them to be friends outside.
Right.
But I think he said, it would have been nicer if they had had a little more support for each other in the time. But they were kids. Okay, now Tony's going to come downstairs looking absolutely ridiculous. So he has on his tuxedo, he has on a hat, and then he has on an overcoat. And I'm guessing this is a Sinatra look?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
this is what he's going for here?
Yes, it absolutely is.
And as he's coming down the stairs, he's singing a Sinatra song. And Sam says, Dad, do you have to keep singing those old songs? Okay, I think I have a part here that you're missing also. So he is continuing to sing a song, and Sam says, if you don't stop it, I'm going to start singing Ozzy Osbourne. Do you have that
No,
part?
that's not in this.
Okay.
I would have remembered that.
So then he manages to work Ozzy into a song. And he starts singing about Ozzy Osbourne as a Frank Sinatra song. And Sam's like, okay, that's it. We are leaving. So she and Jonathan grab their coats and they go. As they're leaving, he's still singing them out the door. Now, Mona comes in the back door. Okay, I don't know how Angela ever planned to hold this dress up.
I know.
First of all, how did Bergdorf's get this dress done so quickly? Because it's the same day they took the dress back, they shortened it, and they let it out, and they had it done for her by the time she was ready to go to this gala. Katherine Hellman looks amazing in this dress. It is a really pretty dress, and it's a dress that doesn't even look that out of date.
No. Yeah.
I could see someone on a red carpet in this dress now, and I don't think anyone would blink an eye at it. It's strapless, and then there's kind of these cute little crisscross X's around the bust and around the waist.
Yeah. I thought they were like starfish.
Oh, no. Well, there's only 4. Oh, it looks like an X, right?
I thought they were starfish with problems. I guess.
Amputee starfish.
Yeah.
Now, this dress is made to accentuate the chesticle area.
The
so,
bosoms.
Yes, again, I don't want to put Angela down or Judith Light. She's gorgeous, but I do think that this dress was always intended to be worn by Katherine Hellman.
Oh, yeah, you think?
Yes. Okay. And so the jacket over it, it's kind of dated because of the giant shoulder pads, but the actual dress is beautiful. Okay, so they get ready to leave. He's all excited. He starts singing. Oh, wait, before he starts singing to her, they're talking about how good they look. And he's like, I feel so bad that Angela got stuck in Boston. And Mona's like, oh, don't worry about it. The last thing she said to me was take those tickets and have a good time.
Yeah, all lies.
Right. That's not at all what she said. So now as they're walking out the door, Tony starts singing, That's Why the Lady is a Tramp. And Mona turns to him and says, who are you calling a lady? Mm-hmm. Okay, so now they get to, I think I have another part here that you don't have. Now they get to the gala. They walk in, and there's people standing around, there's people taking pictures, and Tony and Mona are like, wow, there's a lot of security here. You might have this part.
Yeah, I think I have it.
You have, the beginning part of it.
I think right when...
Yeah, because they walk in there. Okay.
Right.
So Tony's like, we got politicians here, there's foreign ambassadors, movie stars, and your housekeepers. So he's like, that's why you need to have all this security. Now, a woman, this is the part you don't have. A woman comes up to him who's a photographer, and she says, excuse me, aren't you somebody? And he's like, you bet your life I'm somebody. I'm a loving father and a loyal friend and an honest man. And the woman had taken his picture, and she said, oh, that was a waste of a flash. And then she walks away. I know, that's so mean. Now, someone is getting thrown out of the party as they're trying to get in. And he's yelling, you can't do this to me. You don't know who I am. And they said, we don't care who you are. The tickets are non-transferable. And he kicks them out the door. So now Tony's like, uh-oh.
I know, right?
He's now figuring out that Mona has probably not done the right thing again. And he says, Mona, let me see that ticket. And she's like, nope, because if I show it to you, it's just going to upset you. So he looks at the ticket and he says, it's non-transferable. And he's like, God is not going to be happy with us about this. And Mona says, don't worry, God's not here. And then for some reason, there's Catholic somethings here.
Yeah, he's like a priest or something.
Yes, a bishop. I don't really know.
Yeah.
But they are dressed in religious wear, and they are at this gala for some reason. So it's not God, but maybe a representative of God is in fact there. So Mona's like, I don't care. So she walks over to the lady who's checking people in. She hands them the ticket, and she says, I'm Angela Bauer. And of course they don't question it. Like, why would they question it?
Right,
No one,
exactly.
I doubt you'd have to show ID at this. You just play it cool, and you're in with no problem. So that it works. So now they're ready to go through security. But she pushes Tony first. She's like, you go first, just in case we get caught.
Again.
And Tony's so nervous. He can't do anything that's not honest.
I know, he was struggling with it, that's for sure.
And the guy who's like waving, and they have a little wand, which is funny to see this kind of security back then. Because this is only, what, like 89? I don't know. I guess they had security. This is like an airport thing. And for me, I'm thinking that didn't start until later.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, there's enough people that showed up.
Yeah. So the guy's kind of like, a little rough with him, mean to him. And he's all nervous. And then he waves the wand over him, and he's fine. So he's like, you're free to go. Then, of course, he waves the wand over Mona. And when it gets to the chesticle area,
Chesticle?
it starts beeping like crazy.
Did you say chesticle?
Yeah, that's what I said earlier, too.
Oh.
Yeah, welcome to the podcast.
No, I just, I didn't realize it was a word.
It's not. I don't think so. I'm just,
Okay. No,
I think
it.
I've heard it before, but it's not a real term.
Gosh, how did I miss it?
It's like a female testicle.
Yeah, no, I like it.
Yeah, chesticle.
All right.
Okay. And
Maybe I thought you were saying testicle earlier.
Oh,
which
yes.
is probably out of context.
Because I would. There is a reason why I would say that dress was made to enhance the testicle area. I can see why you got confused.
Oops.
Okay, so when he waves it over her, it starts beeping like crazy.
Yeah, of course. And then, it's like a steady beep around her whole entire body. And when it gets to their chest, it's just a solid beep. It doesn't make, what is there, metal in her?
Maybe
I
it's
don't
that
understand
little
what's happening.
amputee starfish that set the thing off.
God.
But he's like, okay, you're good. And then she says, thank you. And he says, no, thank you.
Yeah.
Kind of creepy, but Mona's going to take that as a compliment.
Yeah, of course she is.
So Tony's like, come on already. And he drags her inside. So now they're in the gala.
Would you please
go
you're
inside?
Right.
Look, here's another shot of that camera that we saw. Okay, so that camera is supposed to be there.
Okay.
That's
but
like-
I don't know if that's...
Is that different?
Funny. That's funny you spotted that. That's a good eye.
I think
that's
that is
not the same camera we see on the other side.
Really? We don't see
that
the butt
camera
of
there's
it?
like a handheld camera, like he's walking around with it. The other one is like a studio camera.
Oh, so maybe it is.
I mean, maybe you're still supposed to see it, but we need to look and see where the other camera is, if there's actually shots from that side, which I don't know.
Yeah, I don't.
Hard to
That's
tell.
hard to
Anyway.
tell. Okay, so now they're in the gala. And Mona says, I have arrived. And Tony says, what you did out there was deceitful and it was immoral. And Mona's like, I don't care. And he's like, I kind of don't either because we're going to meet Frank Sinatra.
Yeah, of course.
So they're all excited. Now a guy walks over. His name is Donald Crenshaw, and he is with Siemens Advertising out of Chicago. And he wants to speak with Angela Bauer. So he's like, are you Angela Bauer? And she wants to know why he wants to talk to her. And he says, oh, because, I just wanted to get I'm a longtime admirer, and I wanted to just talk to you about your business. Oh. And she's like, oh, okay. So this guy's kind of handsome, looks a bit like Max, Leslie Nielsen's character that she dated for a while.
True.
And she's like, oh, okay. So she goes off and dances with him. I'm not doing a very good job of mentioning who these actors are, but it's mostly because I looked them up and...
There's not much.
Yeah,
right.
like this guy worked... he's still alive also, but nothing, like he had small parts in a lot of big things. Like he's in the movie Dave and he's in Armageddon, but I don't think he has like a large part in those.
Goodness, how old is he?
He was born in 1937.
Okay. That'd be like 84 or something.
I mean, that math's probably wrong because I'm not good at math, but I tried. It's
No,
close
but
enough,
he's
I'm
definitely,
sure.
I mean, we're in 2021.
Hang on a minute.
What?
I know this guy. I just realized.
Oh, yeah?
He is in one of my favorite X-Files
I was
episodes.
about to say, it's got to be an X-File episode.
Yes, I totally remember him now. It's the episode, I don't know if you remember it, but somebody out there might. It's the episode when Mulder and Scully pretend to be a married couple in the Falls of Arcadia. It's like a planned community that's supposed to be perfect. And they're investigating because a couple who was there before had been murdered.
It was the black slime or something, no?
Yes. It was like a garbage monster that was coming up out of the lawns.
The black slime's the best I can do. That's my memory.
And
I remember that episode.
He is Gogolak, who is the guy who owned the entire division. And now that I know that and I see his face, that's exactly where I recognize him from.
Yeah, I mean, I remember that episode. I don't, I just remember the black, it came out of the...
Yeah, it's like a big garbage monster that comes out of the ground.
Monster.
And I remember David Duchovny saying that, this is a bit of a tangent, but so when he was acting scared of the monster, there was no monster there.
Right.
Because... it was CGI'd in afterwards. So he's like trying to pretend that he's all scared. And then he said when the actual episode aired and he watched it, that the monster looked like a giant bottle of Mrs. Butterworth's maple syrup.
Yeah,
he was
I
like,
remember that.
Why am I so terrified of that?
I know, right? I remember that.
Okay, but
Yeah,
yes, so he is the owner of that development. So she goes off and dances with him. Now Tony's just left there to kind of hang out. And Miles obviously feels bad for Tony because he's meowing.
I know.
Badly.
He's telling us all about it.
Now, back at home, Angela somehow made it back from... She saved the account, and she
all
made
the way
it...
to Boston.
Yeah.
Saved the account.
Yep.
I guess didn't stay in a hotel,
No.
so that's wasted money.
But you know why she didn't stay in a hotel?
Because she saved the account.
Because Mona never booked her one. And she probably...
That's a better answer than...
Because honestly, like...
Saved the account faster than she thought. That's that was my answer.
If my option was to stay in a hotel that had already been booked all by myself for the night, or take my tired ass back home so that I could deal with 2 kids, a housekeeper, and a mother, I'm going for the hotel.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
But she called and they were like, no, we have no record of you. And then she just decided to go home. So she comes in, she's like, I'm back, I'm early, where is everyone? She takes her hair out, turns on the television, and sits down on the couch. And then there just happens to be a bowl. Like this bowl has had apples in it. I don't even think it's the same bowl. But there's been a bowl of apples, like fake apples, on this table
for a long time?
Yeah, at least 15 episodes. And now there is a bowl of oranges. So she sits down, she turns the TV on, she grabs an orange, and she starts peeling it because she's hungry. She probably didn't have any food either. And she sees that they are covering the gala on the news. And the reporter's like, we're here waiting for Frank Sinatra to arrive any minute. And then in the shot comes Tony.
I know, freaking out.
And he's like, did you say Frank's here? Has Frank arrived? Has Frank here? And the lady kind of motions to the camera and he realizes that he's on TV. And so then he runs away. And she continues on with her report. She's like, the rich and famous are kicking up their heels. And then the photographer pans off to the side to show the people there. And of course, it's a clear shot of Mona dancing with Mr. Crenshaw. And now Angela's like, she says, mother. And then she squeezes the peeled orange and orange juice goes everywhere. So that is exactly why they put that bowl of oranges there, just for that shot.
Just for that.
Now, back at the gala, Tony is walking around just trying to find Frank Sinatra. That's all Tony wants. This is why, oh my gosh, Miles, seriously.
No, he won't stop.
Tony wanders up to some random people sitting at a table and he asks them, have you seen Frank? And the guy points over to like where some people are standing and he's like, yeah, I think he's over there. So Tony goes running. So there are a bunch of people like kind of standing around one guy in the middle. And he weasels his way in there and the guy turns around and it's not Frank Sinatra. And he's like, oh. And then the guy says, well, you're no prize either.
You're no prize.
And walks
You're
away.
no prize either.
Meanwhile, Mona is still dancing with Crenshaw and he is just asking all sorts of questions to Angela Bauer about advertising. And he wants to know why she emphasized on magazine ads for the Handsome campaign. And she's like, well, she's trying to just make up stuff because she has no idea what he's talking about. Tony, luckily, comes in and asks to dance with Mona. So he saves her for a minute. But the guy's like, I'm not done with you yet. And she's like, oh, okay, great.
Okay.
So she's like, why does this guy think that I know so much about advertising? And Tony reminds her that she's there because of Angela
Right,
Bauer.
because he thinks you're Angela.
So then Mona drags him off to the side, and she's like, have you had any luck finding Frank yet? I don't know why they go off to the side for that instead of just continuing to dance, but who cares? And he says, no, and I don't think it's going to happen. He's like, this is just like when I was 6 years old, and I waited in line all day long to meet Bozo the Clown. And then just as I was at the front of the line, Bozo himself slammed the door in my face.
Oh, what a terrible story.
I know, it really is sad. And he says that the wound has never healed. Now someone else, I'm sorry. Crenshaw comes back with 2 other people to meet Angela Bauer. So he introduces them, and one of them, I just happened to notice this woman. She has like an updated IMDb picture. So the woman who's introduced as Beverly Fisk.
Okay.
Her name is Jennifer Bassi, and her IMDb picture is gorgeous. She's just like a beautiful older actress now. Still working. The last thing she worked on was in 2020. And she was on General Hospital, All My Children. Okay. So, yeah, I was just surprised to see that she was one of the few who had an updated IMDb picture. Oh, my goodness, Miles.
He's chiming in.
So both Beverly and her husband, I believe, whose name I can't remember now, work in some sort of advertising or marketing. And so Mona's like,
Out of Chicago, I think.
Oh, really? Okay.
I said earlier.
And Mona's trying to change the subject. So she says, oh, well, let me introduce you to my client here, Tony. She's like, oh, he's my friend, but all my friends are clients.
No.
And then they're like, oh, well, what do you do? And she says that he is the CEO of Air Sicily. And then he pretends that he can't speak English. But then,
like, why would she go down that road? Like, Air Sicily.
I guess because he's Italian.
I guess so. It's just funny. Like, that's immediately setting him up for failure.
Right. So then he pretends that he only speaks Italian. But of course, one of these guys speaks Italian. And Tony actually doesn't speak Italian that well. So then they say that he's deaf. And then he just runs away.
I know.
Oh, because he hears...
because he
thinks that Franco's Polish.
Hot dog.
Right.
I think he says.
Yells hot dog in English. And then he runs away.
Right. And that's when she says it's a miracle. Because all of a sudden he knows the word hot dog.
You know,
he thinks he sees Frank Sinatra.
The great thing about this episode is all the Mona and Tony stuff.
I know, and that's what I said. I think I watched it because you didn't remember this episode, which is rare for you. You usually somewhat remember every episode, and I obviously had no.
This was probably just one that I've never.
Episodes. So I watched it before you, and I said the best part of this episode is the Tony and Mona parts.
Yeah.
So anyway, we'll get into that later when we do our
do you think,
ratings
should we put Miles somewhere? Like, this is the most he's ever... I want everyone to know that...
Put him in the yard.
We don't abuse him. Like, he's perfectly healthy, and he's been fed. He has so much food. The problem is...
But he's been doing this a lot lately.
We've been occasionally letting them into the backyard so that they can wander around when we can watch them. And now at night, it's like he wants to go on the prowl. And so he
created a monster.
We did. So he cries and cries because he just wants to go outside, but we're not going to let him outside right now because it's dark. Okay.
You can go fight the raccoons, whatever.
No, he'd get beat up. He's such a gentle giant. He wouldn't know what to do.
No.
Okay, now Angela shows up at the party. And she had to recycle a dress because her mother took her.
Her mother took the red dress that she thinks she looks good in,
right.
Even though Mona says she doesn't.
So this dress, I believe, is the same dress that she wore when she didn't win the award with Rita Wilson, I think. I know we've seen this dress before.
I know we've seen this dress too, and I have no idea from
It's possible we've even seen this dress more than once already. So she goes up to the woman who's checking people in, and she says, I'm Angela Bauer. And the lady says, no, you're not, because Angela Bauer is already here. And she's like, well, actually, I had been called away to business, and my mother took my ticket, and you let her in. So you are the one that messed up, so now you need to let me in.
Right.
And the secretary just calls security.
Yeah, that's it for
not the secretary, the
door person, whatever.
And then these 2 security guards come over, and they pick up Judith Light like she's a little birdie.
And just carry her right out the door.
I know, she just glides right out. Like, these guys, they didn't even burn a calorie. She must have been, like,
pushing and holding on. Like, to push down and hold yourself up that long.
Yeah.
Well, that's impressive.
She probably just had good core strength, and she's tiny. So they could just scoop her up and move her right out of there.
For sure.
Yeah. So she glides out of the room backwards. And then they drop her off right outside the door, but she ducks down and comes right back in behind a couple of other people. Well, just her luck. As she's coming back in, there's a guy and his girlfriend / date / somebody walking out of the party. And her name is Lucille. We know that because he says it. And his name is Stan. And Stan says to Lucille, come on, just wait. And she's like, no, if I catch you flirting with one more woman tonight, I am leaving. So then Angela behind her starts making winky eyes at this guy, Stan.
And she's out.
Right. And Stan's such an idiot that he just looks over. And so now the girl's like, okay, I'm gone. So she runs out, and Angela goes up to Stan. And she's like, let's go.
Yeah, Stan's like, oh, okay, whatever.
I know. And then Stan doesn't go after his girlfriend. He's just like, okay.
Okay, let's go.
Yeah,
and
takes her in.
And then we never see Stan again.
Now no. Oh, wait. Yeah, no, we don't. We hear his name, but we don't see him again. Now, back inside, Mona is still talking to Beverly, and I really should have learned Beverly's husband's name, but Joseph, I'm sorry. Beverly and Joseph Fisk. And they are asking her, excuse me, what her slogan is going to be for the Air Sicily campaign that she's working on with Tony, who apparently is the CEO of Air Sicily.
So ridiculous.
I know. And so Mona's standing there
the lies that they've built.
She's standing there trying to think of something real fast. And then she says, Air Sicily, how bad could it be? And they all just kind of stare at her. They think that she has to be joking. So just then, Angela walks up and she says, Mother. And Mona's like, oh boy. So Mona introduces Angela as her daughter, Mona Robinson.
Mm-hmm. Right, just to keep the lie going.
Yeah. Then Angela shakes hands with everyone, and they tell Angela/Mona. Angela here was just about to tell us her real slogan for Air Sicily. And so Mona's kind of standing there and hemming and hawing, and then Angela says, Air Sicily, don't leave Rome without it.
Now, do you think back then you could play off another company's advertising campaign?
No, but probably for a TV show you could. I don't know. Yeah, because that is ripping off.
Because that's an American Express.
Right.
That was the American Express.
Don't
leave home without it.
Yeah, and it was definitely out. You looked it up. It was definitely out by this point.
Oh, yeah. And the original one was 1975, but there was been several commercials. There's actually, if you really want to look it up, I don't know if you know who The Who is, but there's a great commercial with Roger Daltrey from The Who, the singer of The Who, and he does a whole thing about it, and at the end he says, American Express, don't leave home without it.
Yes. So, I mean, I guess that's why it's like catchy.
But it was a tremendous campaign.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people made different jokes about, don't leave home without it or whatever, like over the years.
Right. Yeah,
it always was, you knew exactly what it was. Yes. I mean, as soon as I heard her say it, I immediately thought American Express. So that's some damn good advertising.
Yeah. And so I'm sure, like, for a TV show, I guess that's a catchy and interesting.
Right, but then American Express would have gone after them. And like, what are you doing, Air
Oh,
Sicily?
you mean like in real life? Yeah. Right. But maybe in the Who's the Boss universe, that doesn't...
No, right.
American Express maybe doesn't exist. Because like now, Angela says, can I please have a moment with my mother here? And she pulls Mona aside. And she's like, she's trying to yell at Mona, but Mona's like, that was a really good slogan.
Right.
Like, Mona's very impressed with Angela's work. So that's why I'm thinking, like, in this little Who's the Boss universe, that was a really awesome slogan, even though we're watching it thinking you just ripped that off of American Express.
Right.
But so maybe American Express doesn't exist in this universe. I don't know. But yeah, so Mona's very...
No, I think it does. I think it would have to.
For them to think that it's that catchy?
For the people to think that it's that clever.
Yeah, that's true.
American Express, don't leave Rome
But it's not... I mean, it's clever because
I know, but... I know.
Because if you're an actual advertising person, I don't think that's really that clever because, yes, you're right. You're just copying another
those people were very impressed.
They were. And so is Mona, which is the whole point here.
Which is right.
So she's like, that was a really good slogan. And Angela's not listening. She's like, I can't believe that you used my name and you let out my dress. And then she looks down and she says, a lot. Mm-hmm. Angela's thinking, there's no way I'm ever going to be able to wear this dress anywhere else ever again.
No, that's it.
So Mona's like, still taken aback at how good the slogan is. And Angela's like, it's about time that you realize that I'm actually good at what I do and that I deserve the things that I have. And Mona says, you're right. It's actually a lot easier to fit into your dress than to fit in your shoes. And Angela's like, you're wearing my shoes too? And she says they match the bag. And she holds up her little purse. Yeah. So Angela tells her, if you ever pull a stunt like this again, you're fired. And Mona says, got it, boss. And now they've made up. So not only is Mona not getting a raise, but she just got threatened to be fired.
Yeah, pretty much.
Now the security guard comes up because he recognizes Angela. And he's like, how did you get in here? And she says, I'm with Stan. And he says, oh yeah, Stan who? And then she says, I don't know.
Stan.
And so they start yelling for Stan, and he starts dragging Angela out. But Mona's like, wait, stop. If there is anyone that you should throw out, it's me, not her. And then Tony comes running in because he realizes that Frank is there now. So he's running in, and Mona's like, tell him who she is and tell him who I am. And Tony realizes that Angela's there now. So he's all worried that he's in trouble. And he's like, she's Angela and she's Angela. And so the guy's like, okay, never mind. All three of you are leaving because you're idiots and you're in my way now.
Right.
So as he was pushing them all out, Tony's like, I'm not gonna get to see Frank Sinatra. And the guy says, you never will, bozo. And that's really just pouring salt in his wound because he's like, please don't say bozo. Because that's what happened with Bozo the Clown. So now the three of them are stuck outside, and Tony's whining like a child. He's like jumping up and down. He's very upset. This is the same Tony that had his fingers crossed and his arms crossed and his legs crossed earlier.
That's true.
And he's like, I'm not gonna get to see Frank. And then Angela's like, all right, here, just take this ticket and go get the valet. Mother and I are gonna go get our coats, and we'll meet you back here. So he hands the valet guy the ticket, and he goes over to the bar, and he's all sad. And he asks for a club soda, and the bartender hands it to him. And he's standing there kind of staring off into space when someone walks up next to him.
He's singing Frank Sinatra,
Oh, is he
too.
singing?
Yeah, at the bar. He's singing, oh my gosh, I can't remember the song, but it's Regrets. I've had a few.
Oh, yeah.
I did it my way. Like, why is he singing? Like, it says it there in closed caption. Like, when the bartender's like, dude, why are you singing? And
now,
at that point, somebody walks up.
Someone walks up behind him and taps him on the shoulder and says, excuse me, would you hand me a napkin, please? And Tony says, what's the matter, your arm broken?
I know.
Like, really? That's how he would greet anyone that just came up and asked for a napkin?
You're looking for a fight at that point.
And then he turns around and he realizes that it is Frank Sinatra. And it is, in fact, Frank Sinatra. Okay, so I have a little bit of backstory on this episode.
Oh, good.
So this episode was planned all along, but was not going to have Frank Sinatra in it.
Oh,
So
really?
The idea of the episode was the whole episode that we saw. But then at the very end, off camera, you would hear Tony yell, Frank, because he runs into him in the bathroom or something.
Oh, okay.
And so you would know that Tony got to meet Frank, but we wouldn't actually see him.
Never see him.
So Tony Danza was at dinner one night, and I guess he saw Nancy Sinatra, and he said he was friendly with her, like he knew her enough to go speak with her. And he went up to her and said, do you think your dad would do an episode of our show? And so she's like, I don't know, I'll ask him. And she asked him, and he said yes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
What a great backstory.
So he came on. I guess he asked that this was not shot in front of a studio audience. So
this must have been played later.
Yes. So this part was shot. They said they shot it on a Saturday. So it was done. I think it might have been done the night after the regular show taping. Because I don't know that they would have done it a whole week before. But possibly.
Yeah.
If they wrote the ending and they just shot that part before. Because you would want to show it to the audience to get their reaction. You know, the laugh track part.
Right. Exactly. Right.
So he asked to not be in front of a studio audience, and he asked to have cue cards.
Same.
Yeah, but they were like, we'll do pretty much whatever you want. So that's great.
To have them on, right.
And so Tony's mother is a very big Frank Sinatra fan. And he has a joke that she would make fun of him and say, oh, you think you're such a big shot. When you get to meet Frank Sinatra, let me know. So he flew his mother out to come to this so that she could meet Frank Sinatra.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, and in a few interviews, he's shown a picture of the whole cast with his mother and Frank Sinatra. And he said that Frank Sinatra was very lovely to his mother.
I bet.
So yeah, so I think that's very sweet. So obviously, Frank Sinatra was a big influence on Tony Danza's life. And he got to give his mother a really big treat. And I'm sure this was a pretty big get for the time, on a sitcom to have. And honestly,
Frank Sinatra,
this is one of the last couple of things that he did before he passed away. I think he was in one other thing playing himself. That it might have even been like a special or something in 93, and then he passed away in 1998.
Yes.
Right? You said 98?
Yeah, 98. Yeah, it was like 9 years later or whatever.
Yeah, I didn't even realize it was that long ago.
Yeah, I actually kind of remember. I remember when he died because I remember seeing a news story about then Vegas dimmed all the lights
Oh, right.
for him when he passed away. Then I remember.
So now Tony is completely blown away, and he's like, "Oh my God, it's you!" So he gets to meet
It's
Frank
you.
Sinatra, and he hands him the whole stack of napkins. And then Frank's like, "Oh, thank you," because someone poured a drink on me.
Some idiot.
Yeah, but he says idiot. But Tony's like, "Oh no, hang on." So he takes his little napkin out of his front pocket.
Yeah, like a kerchief.
Yes,
if you
and
will.
he dips it in the club soda that he ordered, and then he starts to dab it on Frank's jacket lapels.
Classic Tony.
Yep. He's like, "You don't want to rub, you want to dab." And then the guy's like, Frank says, "Oh, okay, all right, thank you." He doesn't question why this man knows how to dab out a stain on his
Questioning
jacket.
this man dabbing his collar.
So then Tony goes into fanboying and saying, "I've seen every single one of your shows. I've seen every movie." And he points out one of his movies from 1955. And then Sinatra's like, "Oh, man, 1955. Like, he can't believe. Yeah, he can't believe it was that long ago." And he's like, I know all of your songs. I just want to ask you one question. What is it like to be worshipped and adored by millions and millions of women? And he says, "Nice." And Tony's like, "I knew it."
And
That's
it's funny
Tony's
'cause
dream.
There's a lyric in one of his songs where he says something about being worshipped and adored. I think it's in "Lady Is a Tramp." Anyway, I probably share it for that, but I just realized what Tony asked. About
I
being
didn't
worshipped
realize.
and adored.
Yes, but of course, like, what else is he going to say but nice? Yeah, I'm sure that's pretty awesome. And that is Tony's dream, because we know when he got to do the...
It's "Fly Me to the Moon."
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I just sung the whole song in my head and got it. He says something about "You're all I worship and adore."
Oh, gotcha. Okay. In the episode where Tony gets to sing for Tony and the Dream Makers, Dream Tones, yeah, Tony and the Dream Tones.
Yeah.
All he wants is for women to rip his shirt off, and
That's right.
He gets that.
You know what? That's funny that it's that accurate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like for Tony to be worshipped and adored by millions and millions of women.
No, because Tony and the Dream Tones, that was the dream.
That is the dream.
That's so funny.
So now just then, maybe Angela and Mona went to the bathroom because they don't have coats. I don't know where I got the idea that they were going to get coats. They went somewhere. Now they're back, and Tony is talking to Frank Sinatra, and they see it happening, and they can't believe it. So they're like, "Oh my gosh, do you see what I see?" So they kind of delicately walk over.
Well, at that point, Sinatra and Danza, or
Micelli,
rather,
yeah,
are
they're
sharing a
buds.
drink.
Yeah, they're hanging out. And so now Tony's acting all cool, and he's like, "Oh, ladies, I want to introduce you to Frank." And so they both say, like, "Oh, hi, it's so nice to meet you." And then Frank says, "Ring-a-ding-ding."
Right.
What does that mean again?
Well, and it's the second time it came up, because earlier in the episode when Tony sees Mona for the first time in that dress, he says "ring-a-ding-ding." And then Sinatra says it. So I'm like, okay, obviously that's something. But it's just, it's a Sinatra album.
Oh, okay.
That actually came out in 1961 on Sinatra. It was the inaugural record on Sinatra's Reprise label. Anyway, it was an album without ballads, and it consisted of up-tempo swing songs.
Okay.
But Reprise Records it's an American, it's a record label that's
Is it
I
still
think still
operating
around
now?
today.
Oh, wow.
But that was the first album on Reprise
Wow,
Records.
that's cool.
But it was Warner Brothers, basically, WEA International or whatever, a bunch of different like companies or whatever. But Reprise Records had a relaunch in 1987, but they're still around now. But that was the first album, and it was his record label because he started his own label.
Cool.
Anyway,
Now he looks at Mona, and he says, "Wait a minute. I remember you."
of course, you knew that was coming
Yes.
back up.
Carnegie Hall, 1969.
Yeah.
And she says, "I threw an undergarment at you." And he says, "If I remember correctly, it was a very large undergarment."
A very large undergarment.
So now Frank has to get back inside. So he's like, "Come on, ladies, we should go." So he puts Angela on one side, Mona on the other, and they walk back in. And then Tony turns around to one of the security guards and says, "I did it my way," and walks in behind them.
Yeah, he had to let that guy know
Right.
that he got to meet Sinatra, and then he used the Sinatra song by saying, "I did it my way."
Yes.
Who's the boss will be back in a moment. Stick around.
The tag. They get home, and they're all just over the moon at how wonderful the night was. So now this is all back in the studio. So I'm assuming the only part that was done on that Saturday was just that bar area part.
Right,
and
that
everything in the
weird
gala and outside was done on the Friday night. So they're all excited. They're still like trying to get over the fact that they met Frank Sinatra. Tony says that he went from, what did he say? He went from Hey Kid to Pal in one evening.
Right.
He said it took Dean Martin 10 years to get that far.
I wonder if I probably should have looked that up, but I don't know what that is.
Well,
if that's a real thing.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a real thing or if he's just making the joke because, they were part of it was a Rat Pack. Is that what it was called?
Yeah, the Rat Pack.
Yeah. And so he's just taking that to like make fun of the fact that he got in with Frank so fast. I don't know that it would necessarily be a real thing, but possibly. Now the kids come out and they're going to pretend that they're very excited about Frank Sinatra, even though they don't care at all. And this is the only thing that they've gotten to do this episode.
Right.
So they run out from the back office den where they were probably watching TV. And they're like, so did you get to meet him? And he's like, not only did I meet him, we had drinks together, we had dinner, and then I sang a duet. And he's like, I sang a duet with Frank Sinatra.
Yeah, where did
and
the
he
duet
passes
happen,
out.
do you think?
I guess when they went back inside.
Oh, okay.
Like after dinner, Frank Sinatra was probably part of the entertainment. And
I
then
guess so. And
maybe
then
Tony got up there and
all right.
sang with him.
Yeah, and then he falls down.
Yes, and that is the end of the episode. All right, I'm going to let you go first with rating tonight.
Okay. I actually really enjoyed this episode.
I know you did.
And I, what's funny is when I realized that Frank Sinatra was on this episode, I got excited. And I think you were kind of like, well, don't get too excited. He's not on very long.
Right.
Which you did know that, even kind of forgot this episode.
Yeah, no, I knew that it was only a little part. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to get my hopes up because, thinking that he was in the entire episode or a good amount of the episode. But like the episode itself was awesome. Anyway, I give it an 8.
Wow.
Yeah, I went real high on this one just because the actual episode itself was really good. Like I love when Tony spins Mona throws her onto the couch. There was just a lot of really funny moments in this episode that I really enjoyed. And then to have Frank Sinatra on it. And then not to realize that Frank Sinatra was like that. I don't want to say old, but you know what I mean? Like, I thought he was younger at this point. But,
right.
You realize this is the
I
late 80s.
don't think I realized that he was as old as he was.
And then he died in the late 90s anyway.
Yeah.
But like overall, there's some really funny moments. I enjoyed the Tony and Mona connection and like two of them going together. And even though she really loused the whole thing up with everybody thinking that she was Angela. The fact that he tried to, he realized that she was sneaking into the place, he still went along with it, even though he was scared. And like the Mona and Tony connection and seeing them together was really funny. Yeah. So, and then Angela, I don't know. Overall, I mean, I know the kids weren't in it much at all, but overall,
but
it was
would
a
have
really
been hard
funny
to work
episode.
them into this episode.
I know this was a tough one to.
No, I agree. I also gave it an 8. And I know because I kind of feel like he's such a big star, a big get for the time.
Right, that
too. It really
and
makes the episode stand
out. But it really just felt like the episode was really well written all the way around.
It really
There's
did.
no filler in it. There's a lot of fun. I know there was 4 writers. There was a lot of funny jokes. But anyway, I'm sorry. It was your turn.
No. That's it too. It was a pretty tight script as far as the comedy between Tony and Mona.
Right.
The way Angela shows up is funny also. Like they all did a really good job with that stuff. That's kind of a thing with any kind of storytelling is sometimes putting these characters who don't always get a lot of screen time together really gives it a fresh feel.
Right.
And that really worked with this one.
Yeah.
And I agree. I mean, the kids aren't in it much, but what could they? I mean, they weren't going to go to the gala, and what could they really do? So I'll forgive it this time.
Yeah.
But I had zero desire to rewatch this episode, and I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. And
it's a really good episode, I thought.
The tuna fish joke made me laugh. The spinning on the couch made me laugh. Yeah, there were a few really funny jokes.
Yeah,
I could have done without all Tony Sinatra singing, but
I know, but it's still. Oh, and then the other scene that was really funny is when he comes downstairs singing Sinatra dressed in the trench coat and everything, and he throws the hat, and it just completely does not.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even talk about
that. I know, I
that.
totally forgot about that. Yeah, I don't think we did either.
No.
How did we miss that?
I think I was so
think we were
focused on the Ozzy Osbourne part.
Right, and the cat was screaming
Yes,
at us.
that is
But there's a great scene where Tony throws the hat on the thing, and it doesn't land on the hook, and he sits there and looks at it for a minute. And then he turns around, and he just keeps going. And if you look really closely, I'm pretty sure Alyssa Milano was trying so hard not to laugh.
Yeah, that's a great part.
It is. The whole thing is
there's a lot of really funny parts.
Good episode.
Who's the boss around here? Me? Or my mother? Or maybe it's you?
Okay, I can't pick anyone but Mona as the boss in this episode, even though Angela repeatedly said that she was the boss. But because Mona just takes it on, like, she takes it on herself. She didn't do this for Tony, but Tony's night wasn't ruined because she made this decision, but she did it for herself. So, but she's the one that decides that she's going to get in there with a non-transferable ticket and doesn't care. And then, you know, she kind of comes around and realizes that being Angela isn't as easy as it looks, even though she sometimes likes to believe it is.
Yeah, which made it another great element of this episode I should have brought up earlier.
Yeah, I didn't that either.
The fact that Mona's humbled in a way.
Right.
You know?
So I went with Mona as the boss on this one.
Really? That's interesting. I actually went with Angela.
Oh, exciting. Nice. Okay.
Well, I mean, I just think, you know, Angela, like, told her, don't do this, you know, or whatever. No, the ticket's not transferable. Don't even think about it. Angela went and saved the account.
Oh, that is a good point.
Not only did she save the account, flew back that evening, came home, could have just, like, went to sleep or, you know, drank a bottle of wine or something. And, you know, she sat on the couch and started having her orange, realized they were at the gala.
Strangled that orange.
I know, got pissed off,
right
strangled
there.
the orange. Probably had to wash her hair because it was orange all over her hair. Put on the recycled dress, went down there.
Okay, yeah.
And then had to break in and had to get in there, straighten out the whole thing, save Mona's ass.
Right.
You know, Tony was Tony, whatever, what was going on there. But had to save the day, come in and straighten it all out. Again, then Mona realized how hard her job is, and she straightened her out, made her realize.
Yeah, those are all really good points.
She needs to, like, you know, shape up or ship out.
Right.
She's going to be fired.
Yeah.
You know, kind of save the day, and then you know, whatever happens after that, Tony meets. No, I don't know. I'm just saying. I just thought Angela was the boss.
I think you're right. I'm gonna stick with mine.
I think you could have gone either way.
I can't change it, but
I kind of thought for a little while Mona was, but after watching it tonight again, I thought Angela was.
Okay, well, you can reach us at Who's the Boss Podcast on Instagram, Who's the Boss Pod 1 on Twitter, Who's the Boss Podcast page on Facebook, or go to anchor.fm/WTB podcast. And Miles would like you to know that he also has an Instagram.
I think he's got his own podcast at this point.
Okay, the next episode we're going to cover is Boozing Buddies. Do you know what that one's about at all?
A little bit, and I'm kind of looking forward to it.
Okay, yeah, I am too. There are parts of it that I like and parts of it that I don't like, but also parts of it that I don't remember, so we'll see. All right, that's it, right? Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Thank you.
All
Bye.
right, thanks, bye.
If you like this podcast, please subscribe and give a big thumbs up and tell all your friends. And maybe you can tell your grandma, your mother, and your sister or brother. Maybe have no siblings. Tell your dog and cats. Bye.
Doesn't like crap games with Sharpies or frauds. Won't go to Column Hall and Lincolns or Fords. Won't dish the Turks with the rest of the broads. That's why the lady is a tramp.
Oh,